Growing up in the 70s, looking like this, extremism was part of my life. I changed my route to school to avoid members of the National Front. I watched my mum, time and time again, scrub the word "Paki" from the front of our shop. And rightly or wrongly, as a child, I punched a bully who used the same racist slur to my face. Although perhaps bringing up this past indiscretion is not the best thing when you're about to get a new boss. But now, we've undoubtedly come a long way since my school days. I'm proud to say that we are now a more multiracial, more welcoming, and more tolerant society. But just last week, I met a schoolboy, Jamal Hijazi, whose heartbreaking story took me right back to my childhood. A Syrian refugee who wasn't just insulted by a classmate, he was attacked. Not in the 1970s, but just a few months ago. No one can hear his moving story and deny that we still have a problem in this country. Attacks on mosques, children being forced into marriage, Christians, Muslims, and Jews. When over half of us have witnessed extremism, it's gone from being a minority issue to one that affects us all. And the way we all live our lives is under unprecedented attack. Anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim hatred, they're all on the rise. Thankfully, our politics has not gone down the same road as much of Europe and the US. But we must act now to avoid sliding into the barely masked racism of nationalism. Because there's one thing I know for sure about this country. We're better than that. We won't just accept rising anger. We won't just slap ourselves on our back and talk about the success of our counter-extremism strategy. We won't deny the threat is now worse than ever. Over lessons on equality that include teaching about families with same-sex parents. This multi-layered approach will help us tackle extremism. This is not just a job for government alone, but we will lead from the front, because it takes the whole of society to challenge these vile views. Everyone has a part to play. Broadcasters, who must not give platforms to extremists. Police, who must swoop in on the worst offenders. And public figures, who must moderate their language. And anyone can challenge the myths that are peddled by extremists that deepen divisions. So tell your friends, and shout it loud and proud, that people from minority backgrounds do not steal their jobs. They're not terrorists, and there is no global Zionist conspiracy. Extremism is a problem that isn't going to go away. So I'm here to redouble our commitment to tackle it head on. The great Labour Party struggled to grip anti-Semitism in its ranks. I will not flinch from confronting extremism. I will do everything in my power to stop those who seek to undermine our country. And I will tackle the root causes, to unite communities, to protect our fundamental values, and to protect those that are most at risk. I've made this my mission, and I'm asking you to do the same. Together, let's call out hate and unite our society and create a better, bolder Britain. Yeah, the US and UK are the closest allies. I mean, they're our closest ally, and we always will be. And by being good allies, it also means you can be critical friends as well. So you're quite right to ask about the US, and I referred to it in my remarks earlier. You know, look, I am deeply concerned about the polarization that we're seeing in parts of the US, some of the naked populism that we see. And just yesterday, you may have heard yourself, there were chants of send her back. This is going on in the US today. Send her back. Imagine if people were saying to me in Britain, send him back. Now, I know how I'd feel, but I'd like to think most of society would think that's just completely unacceptable in a modern, liberal democracy to have that kind of situation and not be appalled by it. It's a slur to my face. Although perhaps bringing up this passing discretion on the